Welcome to my final 2023 NFL preview. I am breaking down the Kansas City Chiefs, and here's how my previews work. I start off with 3 things I like about the Chiefs, followed up by 3 things I don't like. Then I go over to yearly win total odds, I break down the schedule, and at the very end, I give my betting recommendation on the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's kick this off with 3 things I like about the Chiefs. The first thing I like about the Kansas City Chiefs is their Hall of Fame trio. Yes, I'm fully aware Patrick Mahomes has only been in the NFL 6 years and has been a starter only 5 seasons. But if he didn't play again, he would still go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. In his first 5 years as a starter, Mahomes has accomplished more than any other quarterback in NFL history. Travis Kelce and Andy Reid have already cemented themselves as first ballot Hall of Famers and are now making a case for being on the Mount Rushmore of tight ends and head coaches. It might sound like hyperbole, but all 3 of these men are making cases for being the greatest at their position of all time. The second thing I like about the Kansas City Chiefs is their interior 3 offensive line. Joe Thuney and Creed Humphrey are both nominated for the Pro Bowl, while Trey Smith is the odd man out, but is still one of the best guards in the National Football League. I am biased, but the best interior 3 in the NFL resides in Kansas City. Creed Humphrey in particular, who was named second team All-Pro just behind Jason Kelce in 2022, and no disrespect to the future Hall of Famer, but going into 2023, Creed Humphrey is the best center in the National Football League. The final thing I like about the Kansas City Chiefs is their schedule. I will go into more detail when I break down the schedule later in the video, but it appears the NFL has given the Chiefs a favorable schedule. No coach in NFL history has a better record to open the season or after a bye than Andy Reid. Both of those games are played at Arrowhead against NFC opponents. If you go by the 2022 rankings, the Chiefs' 3 toughest opponents, Philadelphia, Buffalo, and Cincinnati, all 3 of these teams come to Arrowhead. Smaller details also work out in the Chiefs' favor. Playing Jacksonville week 2 with Cam Robinson on suspension, Aaron Rodgers in New York week 4 early in the season, and Denver twice before the week 10 bye. Teams that most likely will be better at the end of the season, the Chiefs will play them early. To recap the 3 things I like about the Chiefs: the Hall of Fame trio, the Chiefs interior 3, and what appears to be a favorable schedule. Before I go over the 3 things I don't like about the Chiefs, make sure you smash that like button. If this is your first time here, hit the subscribe button. It helps me out when you subscribe to the channel. Now, 3 things about the Chiefs I don't like. The first thing I don't like about the Chiefs is they're missing defensive linemen. As I am making this video, Chris Jones is still holding out and Charles Omonichu is going to miss the first 6 games of the season. It's unknown how long Chris Jones is going to be out, but until he returns, the Chiefs are without their best defensive player, and they play some really good teams early. The second thing I don't like about the Chiefs is losing offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy this offseason. Most Chiefs fans don't think this will be a massive loss, but hiring Bieniemy was one of the first things Andy Reid did when he arrived in Kansas City 10 years ago. Bieniemy was the Chiefs running backs coach when Jamal Charles was lighting up the NFL, and it was the Chiefs offensive coordinator these last 5 years. During those 5 years, the Chiefs led the NFL in scoring twice, and the lowest amount of points the Chiefs offense averaged was 28.2 points per game. While you can debate Bieniemy's involvement, you can't debate he was the offensive coordinator the last 5 years, and he's now in Washington. The third thing I don't like about the Chiefs is their new offensive tackles. To be fair, in the preseason, both of these guys looked absolutely awesome and could be an improvement, but the Chiefs did give up a first, third, and fourth round pick to get Orlando Brown, who is now in Cincinnati. The Chiefs did get a second round pick in return, but it's still losing a lot of draft capital for someone who is no longer there. While in Kansas City, Brown made the Pro Bowl both times, and while neither one of these guys have never made the Pro Bowl isn't really the most accurate way to determine a player's worth, but Orlando Brown was a damn good player, and the guy replacing Brown did miss a few games this offseason and turned 30 during this offseason. Taylor on the right side is the second highest paid right tackle in the NFL despite never going to the before mentioned Pro Bowl, and could be a massive upgrade, but I am a little surprised the Chiefs spent so much money on a right tackle. He will have to live up to massive expectations because in Kansas City it is Super Bowl or bust. To recap the 3 things I don't like about the Chiefs, you have your missing starting 2 defensive linemen linemen, including holdout Chris Jones, the Eric Bieniemy loss, and your new starting tackles. Now let's go over to yearly win total odds and break down the Chiefs schedule in a little more detail. The magic number for the Chiefs is 11.5 wins, with action favoring the over across the board. If you don't understand what I'm talking about and you don't understand yearly win total odds, you can check out my tutorial video listed here. Now let's go over to the Chiefs schedule and see if they can hit this number. I'm going to break down the Chiefs schedule in this section, starting with the first 5 games of the season. The Chiefs play 3 really tough road games to start off this season, and I fully expect the Chiefs to lose at least one of these road games. This stretch of the season is probably the most difficult part of the Chiefs schedule, and just for fun, let's say the Chiefs start the season 3-2. The next 3 games are against division opponents. The Chargers are one of the few teams that have beaten Kansas City and Arrowhead recently, and the game against Miami, while it's marked as a home game, is actually in Frankfurt. Ideally, the Chiefs go 4-0 here, but again, just for fun, let's take an additional loss, and that puts the Chiefs 6-3 going into the bye. After the bye, Kansas City plays Philly, who is also off a bye, at Arrowhead on Monday Night Football in a Super Bowl rematch. The Chiefs after that game will play their next 2 games on the road. Andy Reid after a bye in Kansas City is 8-2, and no coach in NFL history has a better record after a bye than Andy Reid. Road wins are tough to come by in the NFL, but I do expect the Chiefs after the bye to go 3-0 here. The final 5 games of the season are pretty difficult. Buffalo and Cincinnati have beaten the Chiefs before at Arrowhead over the last 2 years, and neither opponent can be overlooked. A Monday night game versus the Patriots week 15 is also a game that the Chiefs can't count as a gimme, plus 2 division games. Going 3-2 during this 5-game stretch is realistic, and if you follow the math, I got Kansas City to 12-5 here. I went almost completely worst case scenario on the Chiefs schedule and still got the 12-5. The last 5 years, the Chiefs have won at least 12 games, and it's a trend I expect to continue into 2023. If you remember, the yearly win total odds for the Chiefs is 11.5, so obviously my betting recommendation is to take the over. I fully expect the Chiefs to win at least 12 games again in 2023, and the Chiefs are my choice to win the Super Bowl this year. I really hope you enjoyed all my 2023 NFL preview videos. You can check out all 32 teams broken down on this playlist right here. Every week I release a video with my weekly picks on Tuesday, except for week 1, which is going to be on Wednesday. I also go live every Tuesday and Friday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Come by on the live stream sometime. All questions are answered and anything goes on the live stream, and I look forward to seeing you again, hopefully really soon.